I'm going to do a couple more things. I'm going to do some ocean painting. I'm going to show you how I put that together. So you'll notice that right now, everything kind of looks like this lighter blue color. And I want to show some depth because right now it seems very, very flat. It's just this very shallow water. So the way to indicate deeper water is to use a darker color, right? The deeper something is, the more, the more space in which sun needs to penetrate, right? And so always just follow this kind of logic that deeper water is darker water. And what we can do is to show that the water is shallow, we'll go ahead and we'll start adding our layers of depth emanating away from the shoreline. So if I go into the catalog, and you'll see this is the shallow sea texture that I used here to show that it's shallow. This one's just named sea to represent it's a little bit deeper. See, it's a darker blue. What you'll do is make sure it's set to the BG layer, bring the opacity down. The secret to blending a texture or textures is bringing the opacity down a little bit. And what I'll do is I'll start furthest away from it here in this corner, and I'll just start adding my first hint of blue. Then I'll go over it again, a little bit further away, making it a little bit darker. And then do it again. And then as the further and further that I get away from the shoreline, the deeper the water gets. So that's kind of the logic that I kind of follow, right? So I'll make sure that this part in this corner right here is nice, deep blue. So now you kind of get the concept of depth. So this is my trick for depth. And then we can also do that same thing if we wanted to show that maybe there was some depth. You could also put some along the shoreline like this to make it look like there's maybe like an incline, some kind of incline in the water. So that's one thing that you can do. You can also add a lighter variation of that blue texture that we're using. So I'll use that same blue texture and then bring the brightness up and then do it again. This time, really go in here and just make the shallower water much brighter. Let's bring this brightness up quite a bit, actually, so it's quite noticeable. There we go. And then I can really breathe in that lighter color here like this, and then we'll put just a little bit of that lighter texture in the dock along the shoreline here, along this shoreline, just to kind of show that more shallow element to it. There we go. Awesome. Maybe just a little bit more along the shoreline and along here as well. There we go.